Hey Internet, it's RJ. Welcome back. Thanks for tuning into the show today. Now we are set to wrap up not only another month, but another year together. But before we do, we must, of course, answer our Q&A. We do it at the end of every month. I think this one's actually going live on Christmas, so Merry Christmas to you. We don't need any of that Happy Holiday stuff here. So the Riddler goes up. You drop your questions down below, and we take them the way they come in. We've got everything from how could I get a 15% credit card? We're talking about the best travel cards, the worst ones, do catch-all cards really matter, all that and much more. Of course, we go super long here, as I imagine we're going to. So chapters two will be down below. Bounce around as you see fit. But of course, go ahead, press the subscribe button, and let's get to work. And we are batting leadoff with it's funny because these questions come in a different order depending on what app I look at them on. But in the YouTube app on the phone, we have our good friend who loves asking questions. We're batting off with a lot of questions. So he tells me how to pronounce his name, Carib Dude. So there we go. He's got a lot. So let's get through it. Let's get started here. So he bats lead off with, are catch-all credit cards actually worth it, whether it's your 1.5 or 2%? Would somebody actually need a catch-all credit card? I mean, I say yes. I went through great lengths to replace my Smartly card to make sure I was getting, 2.6 this first year, 3.1% with my Bank of America unlimited cash card. You do a lot of spend. There's a lot of non-category spend out there. So I think, in a vacuum, in a single transaction, no, it's not going to kill you if you get 1% back. But over the course of an entire year, which is the way I like to look at it, yes, those catch-all cards, I believe, really add up. In addition to it, I would say it's free. All those catch-all cards at 2x are free. So why would you not just get a free double cash, a free active cash, and just get the extra 0.5% for free versus having to, not get it and it's still free. So yes, I say catch-all cards do matter. Any plans for the channel when you hit 100,000 subscriber mark? Well, wishful thinking. We're on a bit of a run thanks to sometimes the ads that I run for the channel really catch on and people start watching. So, or subscribing, so that's good. I would think we might be able to pull this off sometime in the coming year, 2026, I would hope. I will end up requesting the silver plaque play button. I want one. Subscribers is largely a vanity metric, but I still want one. It feels like official then, like you've accomplished it. I don't think I'll do anything crazy. I'll take suggestions if some people have something. Probably, I'm really prone to just not say anything, but I don't really think that's fair to people who have watched for like almost 5 years now and feel like they're a part of it and are a part of it and have been a part of it. So it'll probably be some quick message. If there's a fun thing we can do, I've seen somebody do like 100 questions. It was just like 100 random questions. There wasn't anything related to this. That could be a fun thing. Maybe we'll do it outside, I guess. I don't know. I have to stay outside for 100 minutes or something. I don't know. So yeah, I'll get the plaque. It'll be a shout out and those, heartfelt thank you deals and all that, but I don't really have anything at the top of my head. The job's not done yet, and I appreciate your confidence in me, but we have a ways to go, so I might start thinking about it more once we get closer. But the job's not done yet, so can't take our eyes off of it just yet. Next up, do you use YouTube Premium? If so, what are my thoughts on the tiers and pay for it? So I have YouTube Premium because I have a friend of the show who became a real friend who's added me to their family plan. So yes, I have YouTube Premium because of that. Would I pay for it myself? Absolutely not. Why? I just like to keep I spend enough money on stuff like computer monitors and other nonsense that I really just like to keep my costs down. I really don't like subscription services, although I think that's going to be the way of the future is to have more subscription services. So I wouldn't for that reason. Plus, while I don't do a ton of ad reads, and it's not because I hate ad reads, because I just don't have the view count to make doing ad reads and the annoyance worth it. If one day I hit off really big and I'm getting 20, 30,000 views, and yeah, you'll see some ad reads. But the point being is you can't really get out of commercials, right? You can skip past those commercials, but then you have the ad read, right? YouTube is nice if you watch on desktop. There's usually like a white dot in the timeline that you can click to, and that'll get you past the ad read. But you just can't really get around it. So I don't want to spend the money. But it is, don't get me wrong, having it is amazing, not having to do commercials. It would be tough to go back to it, but I get it for free. I'm now famous enough that people give me stuff for free, and that's pretty cool. As far as the tiers, I don't know much about the tiers you mentioned because I never looked at the pricing. I don't even know what it costs. I'm always a fan of less tiers. Just make it super simple. One price gets you all videos. Some have commercials, some don't. That seems annoying. Who decides type thing. That's kind of where I'm at with it. In my opinion, do you think subs actually matter? Like, for example, Capital One may approve you for one of their cards, but without the sub, for me personally, I wouldn't reject the offer. It would just have to be a card you really, really want. If you have a strong use case for that card, it's a high category spend. If you just really, really wanted the Venture X, then I think fine, whatever. Like because if you're not going to get the intro offer, like you're likely never going to offer you the intro offer. So it's significantly more important with cards that cost money. If it's a free card, like we just wanted another Chase Ink Cash, and they're like, we're not going to give you the intro offer. Well, it's a free card, so it's not really that big of a deal. I mean, it still hurts, but if you had a specific use case for that card, if it's a card that costs money and you're buying a product, it's a little bit tougher and you really have to have a specific use case for it. I wouldn't be mad at you if you got a card without an intro offer, so long as you know what you're doing with the card and why you're getting it. On those lower intro cards, I can't imagine anything from Capital One being worth it without the intro offer, because again, their stuff really isn't competitive unless you're talking about maybe the Saver or the Venture X. I had called Wells Fargo to see if they'd let me product change my autograph into a Journey card, which would have cost me an intro offer, but they just weren't going to approve me for one. So at that point, am I really losing anything? Turns out they would not approve me. They don't do product changes. I'm still trying to, I would prefer to product change smartly into Cash Plus, forego the $250 intro offer, because there's just more intro offers that I can get for higher amounts. So that's kind of how I look at it. When Chase Freedom or Freedom Flex overlap Discover categories for the quarter, which card do you normally use? Honestly, I don't use any of them anymore. I don't really have a use for it. It's got to be a rare category, like PayPal this quarter for Chase. I don't have anything that can do PayPal. I've got my Bank of America cards to do online purchase at 5 1/4, so I'm liable to just use that. But even groceries, I might as well just keep using the AAA Daily Advantage now that they allow you to cash out points directly to a bank account. Dining, maybe I'll use dining because the Freedom Flex goes to 7x this year, but I don't eat out, so it's really not a big deal. I could just keep using the custom cash. So if I had to pick one, I would probably just use the Chase cards to dump into the Ultimate Rewards pool, but I just don't use either of them anymore. What is your opinion when those two categories overlap? Doesn't bother me. I understand why it bothers people. Would it have bothered me 2-3 years ago? Probably, but I have so many cards now that again I don't get, because I don't need them anymore. I don't care. I also think it's fine to be annoyed, but again, they're two competing companies. They're not overly concerned with what other people are doing, so it's to be expected. I think the annoyance is when they have a very few categories, like Chase's categories are dining, Norwegian, and like American something, Heart Society or something like that. Like, that's annoying. Like, you could throw in us another useful category, right? Like, but it doesn't really bother me too much. Work travel card and why? Would it be Discover at Miles? That one's pretty bad. That, my hatred of the plain venture cards, the venture rewards or whatever, those cards seem useless. I don't care for those. The Miles is pretty worthless. I'm sure there's other ones that are just like not great, but those just seem like purposeless and meaningless cards. So I would agree. Off the top of my head, yeah. The Amex Green card isn't a terrible card. I just hate it because it exists to nerf the other two. So I can't outright say that's the worst one, but it's probably fine. Also, is it as bad as the Venture One? Yeah, kind of. I think they're both equally as worthless. The Venture Rewards is probably the worst because it charges a $95 annual fee. Like, that just makes no sense. At least the others are free. But to pay $95 to get 2x miles back on everything, when I can get 2% back on everything for so many other free cards, like that, I guess that one to me is pretty bad. I think I've read the Bank of America Travel Rewards. The blue one is bad as well, but I don't think it's good. But all of Bank of America's cards aren't good until you get to Platinum Honor status, and then they become good. So if you want a no-frills travel card, no foreign transaction fees, that gets you, 2.6 back on all travel or something like that off the top of my head. I can't quite remember what the leading multiplier is. Then, yeah, it becomes good, but that's the same as the unlimited cash. It's 1.5x. It's terrible, but it becomes good at 2.6. The customized cash is okay. It becomes really good at 5 1/4. So yes, I would agree with that. That is a bad card unless you're into Platinum Honors, which is Bank of America's thing. Give us more money, we'll give you more benefits. My opinion on Bank of America Travel Reward. Oh, I think I just answered this one. The blue one with preferred Platinum Honors. Yeah, I think it's fine. If you want, like I said, if you want a no-frill travel card, no foreign transaction fees, decent multiplier across the board, and your Platinum Honors, I'm like, yeah, why not? There's an argument that I should probably just get that card for my travel card and be done with it. You don't get protections and everything, I don't think, but I mean, it's free, so what do you really expect there? 3 travel credit cards with no annual. Put these 3 travel credit cards with no annual fee and no foreign transaction fees from best to worst. Are you planning on a trip? Discover It, Miles, Venture One with no say, Bank of America Travel. I mean, they're all terrible. From best to worst, I would probably say Bank of America, Discover It, Miles, Venture One. Because Venture 1 is just 1.25, which is silly. At least Bank of Travel Rewards is 1.5. I think Discover It Miles is 1.5 as well, I think. So I guess I would go with that order. They're all pretty worthless cards, but I guess that'd be my order. Why are those three travel credit cards not necessarily true travel? So what makes a true travel credit card, in my opinion, would be you need some level of travel protection, right? That's like table stakes. Doesn't have to be all out Visa Infinite level, primary CDW, lounge access, this, that, and the other. But you need some level that you need a high travel multiplier, at least 3 back. Generally, a wide range would be helpful to cover at least travel, dining, maybe transit. At least one of those 2 extra on there would be the thing. And you're probably looking at a $95 annual fee. In fairness, they're only going to give us so much for free. But those would make true travel credit cards. Those are the ones you listed are cards that are simply branded as travel to sell to people who may want to go someplace but don't really want to get hardcore into travel credit cards and things of that nature, which there is a market for that, people who want to travel, but I want to earn miles. So it just makes it easy. I don't have to understand that I can convert ultimate reward points to this. I'm earning miles, right? I'm not spending any money. Like that. That's why those exist, which is fine because, it's, people need options. So there you go. When I mentioned a workplace break room comparing an airport lounge in the last Q&A, and you said, what do you mean? I meant like how a break room is a place to sit and relax while taking a break from work. Okay, that makes sense. Like, he asked me, do I compare workplace break rooms to like lounges? I mean, it depends on where you work. Like when I was at Quicken Loans, like, yeah, their cafeteria is like pretty nice. They had like TVs and music and stuff like that. But I've also worked at places where it's just fold out tables, So it really just depends on where you work. I wouldn't expect to work anywhere where the break room is like a lounge. Generally, in my experience, those places don't generally pay the most. Like Quicken Loans didn't pay a ton, but they had super nice amenities. But their point was they were going to keep people there for quite some time. Google Workspace or Microsoft 365. Well, I have Google Workspace for the channel and everything. I think it was just easier to set up. People generally like Gmail. I kind of associate Microsoft with, well, I do prefer like Microsoft Excel and their programs like that. So the answer is probably 365. I think Google Workspace, which is a little bit easier to use and manage. I think Microsoft also comes off as like the corporate platform for enterprise. But Google Workspace, at the time, I got my domain from Google Domains. They've since sold that off to Squarespace. So, I think it was just a better integration at the time. Of course, they've since split it up, but you're probably fine with either one. I think Google's a little bit more user-friendly, probably. Credit card madness in 2026. Yeah, I think it'll be back. Why not? People, it's not super popular, but the people who like it seem to really like it, which is the reason we do it. So I think it'll be back. It's become a staple of the channel by now. So we should run it back. Maybe we'll play around with 4 different regions. I don't want to add more cards and more time to it. It's already long enough. It's like a week longer than I would like, honestly, anyways. But we might try to play around with something like that. How do you feel about having a 17-minute Q&A for me in the last video? So I like that you like the show that much. And there was a time where no one would write it in. These videos were 9 minutes long. And so I'm grateful that you care this much and are this involved in it. My concern is that doing this many questions for one person breaks the pacing for everyone else who's like, dude, we're 14 minutes in and you just ran through a bunch of... But again, we have chapters tool, so I didn't get a lot of complaints, so I think it's fine. I mean, it would be nice if we could do like 3 questions, but I'm not going to limit someone's enthusiasm to it. So I appreciate it. That's just my blunt concern of like ruining the pacing, considering I already ramble. The other one concern is I feel like I speed run your questions because there are so many of them versus someone else is going to get a 2 to 3 minute specific answer on their question. So I guess as long as you're fine with that, then it's okay. But I do feel like I'm speed running some of yours in the interest of time and the volume. So I'll kind of leave that part up to you if you find with the quality of answers and things like that. But I do appreciate it. So next up, Jack Paulson, what is your top travel destination if you could go anywhere for free and also not fall behind on other life obligations? Sending this message from my honeymoon in Bali. Well, congratulations. Paid for years of getting Amex points for the flight from Qatar Airways. Lovely, dude. I like that you're here even though you're a travel fan. I'm glad you could put those to good use. I always want, I think I'd put Dubai is on the list. Not because I really want to go, but like, I just want to see if it's as sick as everyone says, right? Like, is it as sick as you see on TV? Is everyone driving Lamborghinis the way they drive Toyotas over here? I don't know. I think it would be neat to check out. I'd be fine if I never made it. I wouldn't say I have a list of places to go and travel per se, but that's one place I'm like, let's go see if it's as cool as everyone says. You know, they had, it's called something like Watch Week or something. There's a name for it, right? But like all the brands come and put on, you know, displays and stuff of watches and things like that a little while ago. That would be a cool time to go, you know, because I mean, Rolex goes and, you know, they generally don't go anywhere really. But, you know, they have a big partnership with one of like the royal families or whatever out there. So like, if I could tie it around something like that, you could say I'm going to go there. Maybe you hit an F1 race or something while you're over there. I think that could work. I don't know how to get over there with points. Maybe you can help me out on that. But I'd say Dubai just to see if it's as sick as everyone says. So congratulations to you, sir. Very nice. Dark here coming in. Say you are voting for the next president and your vote will sway the election. Candidate 1 aligns with your views. 80%. Candidate 2 aligns with your views. 5%. But all right, this was not going where I thought it was going. I'm like, good. Everyone's going to hate me. But you get 15% back for a year with them. Who would you vote with? 15% back for a year, not even close. I care zero amount what the president says or does or how they act. My opinion is that the president's a grown man responsible for them, and I'm responsible for me and what happens in this house. Yes, the president can do things that it makes it harder or easier for me to do it, but ultimately my success, my failure, up to me and no one else. I can do much more than 15% back than I can with a guy who agrees with me. Other thing to this question is the president can't do anything. The only reason this Trump thing is working is because he's working, debate a relative term, right? Working for him is that he's taking his power to the absolute limit. Some would say he's violating power. I don't know. I don't pay attention that much. I just like him for the humor, right? So I'm not trying to upset anybody, but we've seen him trying to push through a bunch of things by executive order. Say what you will about Obama, he really tried to get things done. I mean, Biden tried to get the student loan thing done, and they just couldn't do it. So you can agree with me all you want. That doesn't really mean anything. It doesn't translate to anything. It probably won't translate to anything. But if I can get 15% back for a year, I'm hitting all the credit unions we know allow CD funding, and I'm just sitting there funding CDs. That's all I'm doing. And I'll do much better with that 15% than I will with, you know, the president agreeing with me simply because I don't know what they're actually going to be able to accomplish. You know, people are bought and paid for all the time, horse trading, this, that, and the other. That's part of the job. I don't even blame them for it. I would still just rather, if you put the 15% in my hands, then it's up to me what I can do with it. If it works, it's on me. If it fails, it's on me. Versus someone I agree with, but it's still passing the game-winning shot to somebody else. I'd rather take the shot myself. 15% lets me do that. So good question, fun question. Probably upset somebody, but that's why I wouldn't care at all if the president agreed with me or not, because I don't know that they can get anything done that's literally going to help me. So, but I can help me. There we go. 50 grand here. Man, current presidential administration has given me the idea to learn how to trade in the options futures markets. Do you have any tips on how to learn how to trade in these markets without having to pay hundreds of thousands of dollars to do it? I mean, you're kind of out of my depth on this one. I mean, this is why we talk about credit cards. So the best thing I could say is more so my approach to learning something new I would say there's a ton of free stuff. You don't need to sign up for anyone's courses. There's a ton of free stuff, much like credit cards. Hopefully, I've been able to teach something, and bank promotions perhaps, and maybe we happen to get along for whatever reason. That's great. Find a few folks like that who you can start to watch and learn from. Investing with Rose, or I think she changed the name to just Rose. Used to have a bunch of videos on just like how to do options and index funds and mutual funds and things like that. I don't know her. She obviously doesn't know me, but that would be a good place to watch. I do, especially her older stuff. I've definitely checked out. That would be a good one. And then I would simply say with anything else, I'd kind of build out a plan of sorts of like how you're going to learn, what you're going to go after. And then much like starting any initiative, I would say set aside however much money you feel comfortable losing and say, this is the money I'm going to play around with, knowing full well this money, I'm not going to be paid in earnings, I'm going to be paid in lessons, and don't exceed that amount of money. Much like when I started this channel, I was like, all right, it was like the Trump bucks, that when they sent us out the checks, at the time I was making enough money to get the full $1,000 or whatever he gave us. I know he didn't really give it to us, but still. I was like, all right, I'm going to spend $1,000 on stuff like no more, right? So because you can go crazy buying stuff you don't know how to use, this, that, and the other. And the other thing I would say is when I was in school 100 years ago, they used to have, there's always one class that like had a test trading platform where you can trade, and it's just like for educational purposes, right? I don't know if they have one of those. I would imagine they do, like, when you're playing online poker, but not for real money. If you could find something like that, where you could start with that while you're learning, see how you're doing, and then start throwing in real money slowly, that would probably be how I would go about it. Like when I start the website, it's like, don't go crazy with plugins. When I start doing editing and Final Cut, I'm clearly just serviceable, right? But it's very easy to go in and just, I'm going to buy all these plugins. Like, well, do you know how to use these plugins? Start slowly with the free stuff and then scale out. I don't know if that's as detailed of answers you want. I've never messed around with options or futures before, so I don't know. So the best I can help you is putting structure around the plan to get to where you want to go. And I think that would be the plan that I would try to set up with all the free resources. You shouldn't have to pay that much money these days with how much education is out there. I know everyone wants to sell you a course, but I would think it should be doable. And then again, if you just say, this is how much money I'm willing to lose, hopefully you don't lose it. Maybe you're next Bobby Axelrod, but it's rarely how it starts out for any of us. You got to be wrong a lot before you end up being right. But I love it. So make it your New Year's goal and report back to us, because you could help a lot of folks. Who knows? You could get me out of just doing, basic credit card stuff. All right, next up, Doja Man here. Is being a landlord all it's cracked up to be? It's either great or it's terrible. There's no in between. When it's fine, you don't hear from anyone and people just send you money, and it's great because someone's paying for the house. When it's terrible, it costs a lot of money and it's a headache. Examples. 2 years, it seems to alternate between houses, but 2 years ago, in the smaller house, you have to get like an inspection every 3 years to make sure you're just not a slumlord, which is fine. Of course, it costs money. And like the house itself was fine. There's a 2.5 car detached garage in the back. And this guy hit me for like so many things on the garage. Like when the garage door folds in, those things were kind of broken. And there was like a dent on the roof, probably where they took off a basketball hoop. And it's like, you got to fix these. Well, the garage is like manual. There's no button or remote open. So like, it doesn't even matter. It's just for storage, really, is how they used it. But you get a new door. That was the way to fix it. Because the new door is like $4,000. The roof, like the only way to fix that dent is to get a roof replaced. It's like $5,000 on a garage. Like that's ridiculous. But it's the county, and you kind of have to do it. There's not really an out. They don't tell you how to do it, but that is the solve for it, to do those things. Then other stuff breaks. The garage door at the other place. It was, granted, this original garage from 2005, but I know what happened. Their kids used the door like you would use the front door. So I'm going to get the mail, out the garage. On and on and on. That eventually wears out. That stuff is annoying. But that stuff could happen at your house too. I think overall I look at it as like you've got someone paying for your houses, which is cool, and then you get a discount off of repairs with that little bit of extra that you get, in the rent, because your mortgage payment plus, whatever, right? That's kind of how I look at it. Yes, the government looks at it as I make money. I don't look at it as like, oh man, I'm going to make this much money from rentals this year, this month, because that's how it always goes. But again, the benefit is you're having someone pay for your asset while it appreciates. And then, yes, some of these repairs can be written off on your taxes. It's helpful. How much is it helpful? I don't know. But again, so I would say it sounds cool because you're like, I own multiple houses. It's not amazing. It's fine or it's terrible. It's kind of how I put it. Am I glad I did it? Yeah, I think I still am. Would I add any more? Probably not anytime soon. Definitely not anytime soon. I'm glad I have them, but yeah, it's definitely a headache. If I had to do it again, I think I would still do it. I would probably just button it up a little bit more, taking it more seriously from the operations standpoint of it. Like, actually, I was documenting expenses, then I kind of fall off a little bit, and I'm not really keeping track of everything the way I should. Not really keeping track of, like, hey, what's the market going, like things like that. I should probably button that up and take that part a little bit more seriously. But overall, I would say it's either fine or it's terrible, which is how I would describe owning a house. It's either fine or it's terrible. It's like not like there's not really like an in between. So I don't know if that helps, but I think a lot of those videos where people are talking about they did this, and this, now they're renting it out for 18x's. I think they just leave a lot out, or they're very selective with their math calculations, right? It's possible to do that. I just didn't put that much thought and effort into it. Maybe I probably should have if I had to redo it. So there you go. Not to deter you, but that's like just a quick and dirty, my honest thought. Curmudgeon, easy one. Predictions for 2026. I'm much more curious to see what everything shakes out on these large news stories. It's like I want to see where the Apple Card lands. It's probably going to be Chase. Will they refresh the card? I think we'll see. I'm interested. I've always thought that like Xbox Game Pass, as Xbox continues to struggle, I can see Xbox Game Pass becoming a coupon on someone's credit card. I know they have their own card, but I can see it becoming a coupon on someone's credit card. That and PlayStation, as big as like gaming is, I could see that happen as well. I don't know if we're gonna see anything crazy. It's probably gonna be a continued year of like tightening up and crackdowns, as we're in a very like cyclical game, right? So I think we'll see more of that happen potentially, but. What else? We probably will see the next Wells Fargo card come out. They still owe us that. I don't know if that's a dramatic prediction. I think second half of the year, once everyone calms down about these restrictions, I know Chase is alleged still owes us like a Palm card or something. I don't know if we're going to get that because we got the Sapphire Reserve business as well. I think we'll look to see Capital One probably get back in the mix a little bit. They should probably expand out a little bit, especially I think they're a little bit probably distracted right now, so they can decide what they're going to convert over to the Discover payment card network. That seems to probably be their priority, but the Saver X card has been rumored. I saw something online the other day about it on Reddit, so I think we will end up seeing one of those. I think it's probably just going to be a lot of second half of year, like starting in late spring, early summer would be my guess. Folks still seem to be trying to sort out what's going to happen with this economy, right? You still have Amex doing a lot of financial reviews and shutdowns on people. You Chase changing a lot of their rules. So I'd say first half of the year, pretty mundane and blah maybe. But then, as I always say, sales goals change, management changes, shareholders want growth. By the time we get to the next, now it doesn't mean it's going to be open season for people like us, but I do think we'll start to see a change, I would think. As far as new cards, I think Wells is really the only one who owes us anything. I'm interested to see what Bill Rewards does, especially if they go after mortgage, simply because we just saw Mesa fold. That's still a wide open space as mortgages. It's concerning because Rocket Mortgage couldn't figure it out. They're pretty vertically integrated when I was there. Mesa folded. Built's going to try to tackle mortgages next. If they figure it out, will more people follow into their line, or will they just own the space because everyone thinks it's too complicated? I don't know. I'd like to see that play out as well. And then I do think we'll start to see another tier of airline and hotel chain cards emerge. We've seen Hilton already come out with another status. It's been teased that Delta could come out with a higher end card. I definitely think they can sell to business and consultants who don't really care because they're billing it to customers. There's clearly an appetite for even higher levels of status. What does it do to the lower tiers is the problem. Everything else is going to get nerfed and the price isn't going to change, but I do think we're due, now that we've seen $700, $800 cards work, we're really close to $1,000 to $1,200 cards. I think this year, by the end of the year, we will see our first card. It might not do 1,000, it might do 995 or something like that, which is basically $1,000. But I think we'll see someone go for it. I'm sure we'll see someone go for it. Merry Christmas to you, sir. Let me know your predictions down below. But off the top of my head, that's what I got for you. Nanoparticle. If there was a credit card that made you pass a series of physical tests like American Ninja Warrior to unlock new benefits like 10x on groceries or 20x on fuel, would you do it? I would absolutely do it for the bragging rights alone. I think it would just be fun to see if you could do it. I like to train. I train every day in one capacity or another at the gym. I think it would just be fun to see. Especially if you're getting them for free. They're like no annual fees, but like, hey, if you did 100 push-ups this week, you got this. I think it would be fun. Yes, I would do it. People would cry because, we're always so sensitive to people who are out of shape and everything and all that. And like, I've always been strong-ish, right? I'm in better shape now, but I was always pretty strong. Yeah, I think it would be fun. Why not? Like your multipliers are tied to like your bench press, your deadlift or something like that. I think that would be fun. It would never work because people would cry about it, but it's a fantastic idea, especially if I don't have to pay anything for the card. It's just you got to submit your log or whatever, like how much you did. Now, if you're talking about American Ninja Warrior, I've always just wanted to try one of those courses just to see how it goes. Like I'm not arrogant enough. Like it would go poorly. Don't get me wrong. Like how many times do you spider jump, spider walk, or whatever they call it in real life? Like almost never. Like actually never, right? So it would go poorly. Don't get me wrong. But if I could go to a Ninja Warrior course just for the fun of it, to see how I did, yes, absolutely. And the benefit is if I did it, then I would get, extra multipliers. Yeah. But the OG Ninja Warrior from Japan, like those guys, man, like I don't think I'd pass, but it'd give me something to work on. So yes, I like the idea. I would 100% do it. Kevin Moore, how do you rebuild credit after filing bankruptcy? All right, we took a serious turn. Well, I mean, the bankruptcy is going to stick on your report for 7 years, I believe, so you're kind of stuck in the time being. I mean, without knowing too much about it, I mean, you got to really go back to the basics and get the expenses in order, get a budget in place so you know where the money is going, so you want to make sure it doesn't happen again. As far as starting to rebuild credit, I mean, your only options are going to be like a secured credit card from like Capital One or US Bank, I would imagine. It's going to be your only option. So I'd imagine you pick up one of those and deal with the lower limits. But again, you're just trying to build up history and on-time payments while maintaining the budget and your expenses so that by the time you get through those 7 years, you're hopefully back in a position where you can start to slowly get real cards again. You only need one or two cards, to start building up the actual credit score itself. I don't think at this point you're not really focused on intro offers or high multipliers, to say the least. So I mean, those would be the early on steps that I can think of off the top of my head. Is really just making sure that you don't backslide with the proper tools in place. I know everyone gives Dave Ramsey a hard time, but when it talks about getting out of debt, I don't know again what your situation is, but when you talk about someone talking about getting out of debt, accountability and process to make sure it doesn't happen again, I think he is tops in the game. You can say what you will about the credit card, him being so overdramatic with the credit card thing and a few others like credit score, but when it comes to building out a system to follow to make sure this doesn't happen again, with having an emergency fund, having a budget, spending within your means, things like that. Again, I'm not making accusations. I don't know your situation, but I do believe in that stuff. I do believe he's correct in a lot of that stuff. And you're probably going to have to look at some of that as well. But if you're talking about just rebuild credit, you're really best off with a secured card. It's probably going to be your only option. You don't need a lot of them. One will be fine. It's just one to manage. And that's going to probably be it for the foreseeable future. So if anyone else has any more serious tips for our guy, let us know. But we've had people do it before. I know someone who's done it before, who's a friend of the channel. So, I mean, head up, keep going. It'll be over before you know it. You'll be through it. We just want to make sure you don't go backslide there. All right, so the next guy says his name is Jordan. Disregard Fevzi, just a random assortment of letters. Well, nice to meet you, sir. We got a lot of people asking a lot of questions. All right. So what is your 524 status? I think I'm 7 and 12. I don't know what the 24 status is, but the reason I know that is because I looked it up when I applied for my last Bank of America cards. I'm 7 new accounts in the last 12 months. That drops off dramatically come July or August. So 7 and 12 right now. Cards are you aiming for next year? I think everyone here who watches can answer that. It's an autograph journey, for God's sake. I don't think they're going to approve. Maybe if I get down to 1 in 24, they probably will, hopefully. And then if US Bank won't let me product change my Smartly card, then I'm probably going to have to then I'm probably just going to get a Cash Plus card. I do spend more on utilities than you would think. Back to the rentals, one thing I've learned is you can't take water out of your name. It's a lienable utility, so I pay the water bills and then send those people the picture of the bill plus a Venmo request for the money, plus my own, of course. So it makes my utilities higher than you would think. The gym membership's not that high, but I do want a Cash Plus because I do want to continue to gold plate my setup and get 5% as much as I can for free, and the Cash Plus is likely the answer. I'd rather product change to it, but I will apply for it if need be. Outside of that, there's not really anything I need at the moment card-wise. I think I'm good, which is a good thing to say. So you're probably looking at going intro offer hunting or more gold plating, which would probably be for me more Bank of America cards or another custom cash card, but I don't know what I would do with them. It's just, again, what's the point of gold plating, I guess. So those two for sure covers off 2 gaps that I have on my coverage, but I'd say leave it there and we'll see what the year brings. How many cards have you canceled over the years? Any big dips in your credit scores afterwards? I really only cancel cards with annual fees. Most of the cards I have are useful because you can product change to them. Like the Sapphire cards have all been product changed. The Freedom cards. What else? I talked about the Smartly card was a Cash Plus card. City cards have switched to custom cash cards. Then I have a lot of no annual fee cards. So really, I've canceled some ink cards because I wanted to get back in line, and of course anything with an annual fee. A lot of my annual fee cards were on the business side: Triple Cash, Biz Platinum, Biz Gold, things like that. I haven't noticed a significant dip in credit. I think I did a video one time that was like I applied for 20 credit cards this year, and I showed one of the credit monitoring apps, and there was no noticeable dip. Now the history does stay on your report for 7 years, I believe, anyway, so it's not really like an immediate dip. I know the Rocket Mortgage card, for example, got closed because they shut down the product, and that didn't really do anything. Now again, my first real credit card. I've had one before that, but my first real credit card that I consider was my Freedom card from 2013. So I've been doing this quite some time between auto loan, having car loans, home loans. Obviously, we just talked about many cards. So I wouldn't expect a dramatic dip like that. Plus, if your utilization is very low, losing that amount of credit isn't really going to do anything. Again, you do have them for 7 years on your history. So I would cancel away. No annual fee cards. I generally look to see if I always look to see if I can product change first to something more useful. That's how I end up with doubles and triples of some cards. But if it's not going to do it, there's no options, you just don't want it, sure, cancel it. Talk about how involved it was to transfer money into Merrill Lynch for the Bank of America Premium Preferred Rewards. Are there any fees involved? So I transferred back. So when I got originally, I opened the account and it was just a rollover from an employer when I got sacked at Quicken Loans. I just took that, rolled it over, and it works the same way. You just mail them your employer company sends you the check, and you send the check to Bank of America. Everything's a little bit antiquated, so you had to go online and find the form you need. They have an option that says they'll do it for you. They won't do it for you. So that was annoying. It'd be a much better example to talk about moving from US Bank back to Bank of America. So I had split the money, left 100 over there in Bank of America, moved 100 to US Bank to do Smartly. And so when Smartly stopped being good, I moved back. So I phoned in. US Bank lets you do it online. You can submit what they call an ACATS transfer, which basically transfers in all your assets in kind over to Bank of America. And that's really it. You upload a current statement and they take it from there. They did call me with a question, which is nice because normally the back office will not call customers. So that was nice, but it's fairly easy. You really don't have to do anything except for fill out a form, upload the document they want, and they transfer it all over. It takes about a week, and they do one more sweep to catch any dividends or things like that. Then they auto close your account at US Bank. The fees, US Bank did charge a $95 closure fee. Being in preferred rewards, you can call them and be like, hey, can I get the feedback? And they'll do it. They might even do it if you're not, just because you're moving so much money over to them. They'll reimburse you on the Bank of America side. It's hard to see because U.S. Bank, they just, in the transaction list, you can see minus $95 when U.S. Bank took their money. But overall, it really wasn't complicated at all. It sounds complicated to do, but it's really not. There can be fees to it. And usually, if you look, someone like a Fidelity or Vanguard, sometimes they have fee reimbursement. Bank of America did in this case. You just need like proof of it or something. They can usually take care of it. So really not that bad at all. Bank of America's not great or Merrill's not great, but I only check in once a year, so it's really not too much to complain about. As far as buying and selling, pretty easy. I mean, yeah, they have fees on, was it mutual funds? But everyone charges fees on mutual funds, I want to say. But no, I believe their trades are free. If you just do like index funds, they're free. I haven't been charged anything because I just do self-managed. So no, it's annoying, but again, I'm making 1-2 trades a year. Again, when we get to January and I make my contribution, then I'll do a big trade, 7,500, and that'll be it. So I think it's just if you do mutual funds, but I think everyone charges for those, so no problems there. Ever thought of creating a home gym with decent equipment? I have. You want B-roll of the empty garage? Okay, I will remind myself to do B-roll of the empty garage. Well, it'll be a car. I have a snow shovel in there now because it's snowed quite a bit, but over the past few weeks. So yes, I thought about it because this is a ranch, like 1,600 square feet, and so the basement runs the length of the house. So there's a ton of room. It's unfinished right now. Like, you got to put your shoes on if you want to go down there because the floor is not even sealed. The cement's not even sealed. I've considered it. If I had a home gym, I would never leave the house, number one. And number two, I don't want to own that stuff because, stuff goes wrong, stuff breaks. I'd rather just work out at the gym. I like going. I can take a shower there, shave, brush my teeth, all that stuff, then just come home. Gets me out of the house for a few hours. I feel like it's a very focused place from like you're there to work out. If you're home, I think it could be a lot more distracting because I just don't want to be responsible for all that equipment, for a treadmill or what have you. I just don't want to be responsible for stuff when it breaks and let them be responsible for it. I pay $30 a month. That's $1 a day to train, hit the shower, shave, brush my teeth, and come home. I think that's more than fine. So I have considered it, but I don't think I would do it. So B-roll of the garage, got it. Merry Christmas to you, sir, as well. Few more here. Red Sox Nation, keep up the great work. Thank you. Do you think that the U.S. is turning into a failed nation? I mean, how so? I think we're just really a nation that like we lie to each other, and like the truth of the matter is you're really just on your own. No one's going to help you do anything. But the great part about this country is you can do whatever you want to do so long as you can do it. It means no one's really going to give you a helping hand per se, but if you want to start a channel, if you want to start your own sports podcast, if you want to do this, that, or the other, you can literally do it. You can take the time to get the know-how. People have often invented things as their business that will help you start your own. So I see nothing but, plenty of opportunity out there, really. So no, I don't think we're failed in the least bit. I think we're a little bit, we like to lie to ourselves a lot, be a little disingenuous. Life would be a lot easier if we just admit who we really are. And again, I think we're out for ourselves. There's nothing wrong with that. But yeah, I think there's still plenty of opportunity out there for anyone who's willing to go and get it and try. I don't know if that's really what you meant by failed nation or not, but I don't personally look for the government to do much of anything for us. So when they're doing their stuff, it doesn't bother me because, ultimately the majority of government people, whether they're senator, Congress, whatever, they're just employees at work trying to appease whoever's in charge, saying the thing they need to say, which is the same thing we all do at work anyway. So, I don't really put too much stock into that. So, more tame question. The other guys asked more about the president than you did. So, no, we're not a failed nation. This is America. America's great. Freedom. Matt Kramer here. In a recent video, you alluded to gift cards and hitting spend. Have you bought and sold gift cards with any velocity to hit spend recs? If so, which buyers? I've bought gift cards for sure if I needed to, especially in the early days. Now I really don't need to. Let's go back to like the rental question and other stuff. I really don't need to so much, but Yeah, I've done it. Amex is the one that's like super sensitive, but even then, I think they know people buy some gift cards. I haven't sold any gift cards. I mean, if I'm gonna buy them, I'd historically just buy Amazon or Apple or something that I knew I was going to use. The no fee ones, like I haven't. I know what you're talking about. You can sell gift cards if you absolutely can't liquidate them, but now you're talking to really cutting in because you're selling them what on like 80 cents on the dollar or something. So I wouldn't really sell them. I would just know what you're going to buy, whether it's grocery gift cards. You can also look to prepay utilities. I can prepay my electricity bill. Is it the most financially sound advice? Probably not. But like you're gonna spend it, and like reasonably, most of us aren't financial wizard Bobby Axelrod. So like, how much opportunity cost are you really losing? But yeah, if I'm gonna do it, it's usually Amazon, Apple, or for groceries. Or if I know I have something coming up, or maybe I'll like pre-buy gift cards I'm gonna gift to like my parents or something for Christmas or their birthdays, and just sit on them for a little, excuse me, for a little bit longer. But no, I don't. I wouldn't bother selling them. There's too many options out there to buy to need to turn around and sell the gift cards and take the loss. I think that would. I don't agree with that. I mean, I know people do it, but I wouldn't want to really take the loss like that. Let's see. I just refreshed this and like the order changed, so that's annoying. Let's see. Okay, so let's see. Briggs here. Is it worth it to set up a sole proprietorship in order to go after business account bonuses? Yeah, I mean, I don't necessarily know it's necessary, but it's worth it because really what I did was before I had a real LLC, I just went down to the county and they had a form called a certificate of assumed name or a DBA. It cost me $10 to park and $10 to file the form. I think I filed it under RJ Financial in my county, and that was more than enough. And that was like to do a Flagstar business checking offer. That was like $500. So it's $20 total plus maybe an hour of my time, and it's good. It was good for 5 years. I have no idea what that does to tax implications. I just put it all on my regular taxes. But yeah, if you're going to be serious into this, like I'm going to branches to open business accounts because that's really when they're going to ask for that. And some business platforms like Ramp, for example, they've asked for that, right? It's rare. So if you really care, then like, yeah, it's definitely worth doing it to that level. You would make a lot of money without having it. Many places will just let you do sole prop just without a document. But usually when you go in branch, the banker's really confused and rightfully so. Like, why would you want to open this? Because why would you not have business documentation, right? So yes, I would say definitely open. If you're serious about it, it's worth it, right? It's not really that much of a hassle. At least around here, it was pretty cheap. I don't know what your county's going to be, but you're looking for a form like that. So yeah, I would definitely consider doing it. I'm glad I did it. Nowadays, if they ask for something, I just pull out my LLC information and give them that. But yeah, why not? I mean, there's so few offers and we run out so quickly, so you might as well. They hate me with ongoing changes at Chase for non-beginners. Would you be for non-beginners? What would be any pros to downgrading to the Chase OG Freedom versus the Freedom Unlimited if you already have a Freedom Flex? I mean, for non-beginners, I mean the value just I wouldn't really care that much anymore because I mean realistically, like, is it worth it to keep churning a $200 Chase Freedom offer? Because the reason people would want to move to the OG Freedom is because then they could churn the Freedom Flex, which kind of made sense. But nowadays, I mean, are you really like it's $200, right? Like maybe when the 5X gas and grocery thing came around, but that's really rare. We haven't seen that one in a while. So I think there's diminishing returns at really trying to do that nowadays. I wouldn't bother. That's why I have three Freedom Flexes because I stopped trying to do the OG Freedom because it doesn't. To me, it doesn't really matter. There are much higher intro offers, especially in a world where now every bank is concerned or cares about Chase or about 524 status. We really got to be a little bit more selective on that. So I wouldn't spend my time as a non-beginner trying to hit $200 offers when like the ink cards are right there or City Strata is right there or Signify is right there for significantly more money. So I would make them Freedom Flexes and just be done with it. Maybe they come in handy, maybe they don't, but not really a big deal either way, in my opinion. But again, if you have another strategy, you can let me know. So yeah, this changed the whole order. This is going to be annoying. So Matthew Ferguson here for checking bonuses. What are your thoughts on having one spouse's direct deposit go into another spouse's checking to trigger the bonus? I work while my wife is at home with our kids. Several times we've opened accounts many times. Forums say this shouldn't work. So, are there any banks you think will deny? No, I think this will work. I don't see why it wouldn't. But here's a really quick thing you could do. It depends on what kind of person you are. You seem like a good person and maybe not a degenerate yet, but you're on the path to becoming a degenerate. Just fill out the form and say your wife works at the place that you work. They don't ask. They don't require documentation. I don't think it should matter, but I've seen it. I've seen it once. I've heard about this once where a guy was fighting a credit union about a direct deposit, and they went back and pulled his member documents, and they said, well, you wrote self-employed or something, but it came from here. I've only heard that story one time, so it's possible. I've never had anyone be like, well, can you prove you work at such and such place? Ever. So I don't think it'd be a problem. If you're concerned about it, you simply don't care, just fill in the form she works where you work, and it's fine. My direct deposit doesn't say my name on it. It says the company name, so things would match. Again, that's up to you. I can tell you that when I moved here, you always had to tell them, well, how long have you lived at this address? And I'd say 2 years, which was not possible because this house wasn't 2 years old at the time. But if I say less than 2 years, you're going to open up a more text field and ask me for more information, and which you don't need. So I'm just not going to do that. So that's how I did it. I mean, again, some people would say that's wrong. I'd say I don't care, but you might care. But that's a quick way around it. Should it work? Yeah, I don't see why it wouldn't work. It's more so on how it codes. They don't know where she works or anything like that. I mean, where she works is a free text field most of the time too, and they're not really checking against free text field because people can have errors in there, spell things wrong, this, that, or the other. So I don't see a problem why it wouldn't work. But if you really wanted to be sure, you could just do that. Depends on what kind of person you are. So I think you're good. That's it. Yeah, I told you the one story I heard about. It's kind of up to you. I don't think you should have to, but that's a quick mitigation tool for you. Nick here. What are your thoughts on the Fairwinds credit card? Let's take a look. I'm looking it up. It might be a weird edit because I don't remember all these things off the top of my head. All right, let's see. So they do have a few credit cards. Okay, so you're looking at 5x. I'll put it up. 5x points on theme park tickets. That's rare. 5x points on travel, 3x points on dining, and 2x points on all other purchases. VIP access to exclusive events, yada, yada, yada. 60,000 intro offer, $95 annual fee. I mean, on the surface, that sounds really good. I don't know how helpful theme park tickets are going to be. I mean, I guess, if you're a big Disney adult, maybe you're taking your kids to Disney, that could be big. Those tickets are expensive, but the 5x points on travel, I mean, look, without digging into this too much, but the questions I'd have are, well, how generous are they with what codes with travel? Is it really like travel and transit, airlines, hotels? Like, what are we talking about in that? Either way, as long as it's airlines and hotels, I think you're doing pretty good for $95. And then, what are the points worth? As long as you can actually cash them out at a 1 cent per point valuation, this to me looks pretty good. I am a member of Fairwinds Credit Union. Like, I might have to consider this. I might have to look into this a little bit more because, again, the 5x points on travel, 3 back on dining, and 2 back on the 2 back on everything else makes me feel like these might not be 1 cent per point because you rarely see 2 back on everything else. Like, that's a really good stack of multipliers for $95. I don't see there's no foreign transaction fees. I don't see anything about travel insurance. Again, I'm just on their homepage, but, there's a learn more button. Let's see. I don't know if this makes for good television or not, me looking at this at the top. We also only have 6% battery left, so not great. Redeem points for travel, dining, entertainment, gift cards, and more. 50% more value on points redeemed for travel, stretching your budget further. I mean, this seems pretty good. Yeah, I would just have to look. You just have to look into it more and see what the actual redemptions are gonna be, right? Doesn't sound like you can. Well, yeah. I mean, you probably get to go through their portal for this travel thing, but overall, it doesn't seem too bad. I think this could be a winner. You'll do a little bit more research again, just off the top of my head, but it seems like it could be a winner. All right, let me scroll through these really quick because I refreshed this to make sure I had everyone, and then it changed the order, which is going to make it really annoying in editing. But I do want to make sure everyone's covered here. I think we got everybody. I could also just edit this part out. Yes, we got everybody. Okay, So awesome. There you go. Well, thank you so much for writing in. This is an anticlimactic way to end the Q&A, but I appreciate it. That's been all your questions. So thank you so much. Of course, I think this is going live on Christmas, so I hope you had a good time. Merry Christmas to you all. Nothing says Christmas and holiday time like watching this long show with your family. So, of course, if you liked it, drop me a thumbs up down below if you found it particularly interesting. Consider subscribing to the channel because, of course, we're posting content just like this every single day and right back every Sunday with all the news you can use in the week that was in credit and finance. And, of course, every single day over on ProfitableContent.com. Our channel's blog, which is always linked down below for you, as well as the homepage where we post the latest news stories, bank promotions, and credit card offers. Get your 2026 started off in the most profitable way. As always, thank you so much for watching. Again, Merry Christmas to you, and we'll do it real soon next year. Take care, guys.